Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April. I go by Ruby Rouge here on the YouTubes. I hope everyone is having a good enough start to your new year. Today's video is Size Matters Project Pan, Pantastic Ladies theme. Pan That palette, hold on, that was a whole lot of stuff. Pan That palette was originally created by Amber F. This year's theme was the idea of Jessica Lee in the Pantastic Ladies Collab group, and we all voted on it and decided this was the one. And so for Size Matters, that meant like a big bulky palette or open to your own interpretation. But for me, I picked this baby right here. It is the Tati Texture Neutrals Vol.1, I think. As most of you know, it has been discontinued now. And how did my month go? I really don't know. I just don't know. I'm feeling a little confused after this first month. However, this is the palette now, and I'll show you the pictures from before and after 1 month of use. Obviously, I don't think you're going to be able to see a lot in the pictures. You might be able to tell that I cleaned up the palette a bit. In person, I can tell that some of the shadows look slightly less new, but that's about it. So goals for the palette this year, I plan on using the palette 30 times in each month, which means each shadow in a look counts as one use. I don't have any real plans as far as how exactly I'm going to pan it. How did I do this month? I hit 24 uses, so not quite where I wanted to be, but it's pretty close. We're pretty close. Let's see what else happened with this palette this month. I did find the weights, so I looked up the weights because last month I was a little confused, but they are 0.04 ounces or 1 gram, so they're actually about the same size as my palettes from last year, which I can't wrap my brain around how there's the same amount of eyeshadow in each pan there. That's a lot for me. I also had the good fortune of Memory Matte being in my pan those eyeshadows for right now. So for the time being, I'm actually getting double credit for using Memory. That's cool. Pan That palette's always a challenge in the way that you just really get to know a palette, and to be honest, I just wasn't as excited as I wanted to be with this palette this month, and I'm just not sure. Maybe it's because this time of the year I really kind of gravitate towards cool tones, and there's not only are these not cool tones, they are very warm tone. You have black and you have white and you have pink, and but all the neutrals are very warm. Or all the things that I would consider like super neutrals are warm. Yeah. So I don't know. I just kind of meh on the palette this month. The other issue that I'm having with this palette, and especially for this month, was these are so pigmented, like so pigmented. Like last year, my whole Pan That palette was super pink, right? But they were pigmented in such a way that when I put them on, they just kind of worked. You know, they weren't blow, they weren't in your face to the level that these are, and these are just really in your face. And I'm having trouble kind of adjusting to that. I really wish she would have just ixnayed this whole row here and all of the sequin shades and put in a transition. I think it could have worked. I think it still could have had a nice theme to the palette, but like a half pigmented version of the shade. Something that, you could use on a day you're not feeling quite so bam, or you could use to blend out the shades a little bit, because when you don't go full pigment, they start to get a little patchy. But you know what? Let's save all that. Let's get to those in future videos where I have a little bit more experience with the palette. Yeah, let's save that. Let's get a close-up look at this palette. Right, I used Sequin 1 time and Matte 3 times. Ritual, I used the Metallic 1 time, Sequin 3 times, Matte 1 time. Story, I used the Metallic 1 time, the Sequin 1 time. And I do think I tried to use all the sequin shades kind of just as mattes to see how they would perform, because like I said, I don't really love the sequin shades. And then Soothe, I used, let's see, Soothe, I used the metallic one time. I used the sequin 3 times and the matte 1 time. Aura, I used the metallic 2 times and then the matte 2 times. And then Poet, I used metallic 1 time, sequin 1 time, and the matte 1 time. And that's my update, y'all. Same as last year, I'm going to put the lookbook back at the end. I will eventually try to get us some new music. I'm just going to go ahead and use last year's music, I think, right now, because I'm kind of in a hurry to get this video edited and up. But I think you guys really appreciated that. I had a lot of positive feedback from that, so yeah, we'll just continue that same format, except I am going to flip the photos this time. I felt like I should have been putting the newer photos at the beginning, but yeah, it got too hard to like rename them all and get them, yeah, so that didn't happen last year, but that is something I want to do differently this year. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you being here. I love sharing this space with you, this time with you, just to talk about makeup, have a good time, enjoy life. Thanks so much for checking out, you know, my progress with this palette. I know a lot of you guys are really excited. We're really excited to see me with this palette. So I hate to be a little bit like, I don't know, not so great first month. So hopefully next month I'll just be feeling a little bit more inspired and I'll get into it a little bit more. Yeah, because it's the first month. I'm just getting to know the thing. And yeah, so I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye.